Stand face and you take a wee step to your left, and you take a wee step to your right, and a wee step back. It's like the hokey cokey. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Do you want to just hold on to your flowers? It's up to you. They get a bit heavy, don't they? Right, will we do this? Yeah. Don't forget to keep looking out that way a little bit. It's not, nobody needs to see me, it's you that need to see. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for this very, very happy occasion, the marriage of Lally and Robert. My name is Stuart Rogers and I'm here from the Humanist Society of Scotland. It's a real honour and a privilege for me to conduct Lally and Robert's wedding this afternoon and to welcome all of you here to be part of this, their very special day. As you all know, Lally and Robert are already committed to one another. They have been for some time. They now want to make a formal and public declaration of that commitment as they share with you, the family and their friends, their happiness at becoming a married couple. They've chosen to have this kind of ceremony today because they wanted a very personal ceremony, one that would be very unique to them and all about one another. And in choosing this kind of ceremony, they've each been able to contribute to it greatly. So much of what you will hear in the next half hour or so will be their very own words. So it is indeed a truly unique, intimate and personal celebration of their marriage. Now this time I'd like to introduce some very special guests who are of course today's wedding party. Our beautiful bride Lally has two lovely bridesmaids, Dion and Alana. Robert has two best men, Ian and Gavin. And some people have travelled quite a long way to be here today. So we welcome Lally's sisters Paula and Jill and her nephew Mark, and her friends from Minnesota, Annie, Jonathan, Lara and Nisa. And if you've got jet lag and you drop off, don't worry, it's being filmed, you can see it later. Of course, all of you here today are special to Lally and Robert. And they hope that each one of you will feel as though you are part of this special day when not only two people come together, but two families come together as well. Now, before we go any further, there's a question that I have to ask you. And I hope in response to this question, all I hear is complete silence. That's kind of a clue, right? Does anyone here have any just reason why Lally and Robert should not be married this afternoon? Speak now or forever hold your peace. How long should we? Okay, I'm going to ask you that question in a different way. This time, I do want to hear an answer. Think carefully before you say anything, because depending upon your answer, there's a kind of nice meal and a few drinks waiting for you in a very short time. So, taking that into consideration, do you think it's a good idea that Lally and Robert get married this afternoon?
Yes.
I toilet, I'm very hungry. Can we try that again? Do you think it's a good idea that Lally and Robert get married this afternoon?
Yes!
Ah, there we go. See what a free drink does. So, now we turn to the happy couple. Here they are, standing in front of all of you, about to become that old married couple. Why? Why are we all here this afternoon? What's brought them to this point in their lives? What's their story? Who better to tell their story than Lally and Robert themselves? And this is how they tell it. Starting off with Lally. She said, Robert and I met in 2020 during the pandemic. It was the time of lockdowns and social distancing. Not exactly ideal for starting out in a new country, and Annie, who's here, insisted that I get on these apps and meet people. After a lot of swiping, one profile caught my eye with the caption, "Just a normal weirdo looking for a partner in crime." She said that phrase struck me because for years I've been thinking about that kind of relationship. Your partner in crime, you two against the world. It was exactly 4 years ago today that Robert and I were finally able to meet for the first time in person in Stirling. For a date that started with interrupting a pigeon mafia, then getting a coffee that turned into a walk, and eventually ended with dinner. Moving on after finishing my master's programme meant moving in with Robert. Then getting our first flat together, and eventually our current house. We added to our family along the way with the 2 cats that we probably talk about far too much. Eventually it came down to a race to the proposal. Each of us hatching our own plans in secret, getting feedback from friends, creating ring-size formulas, and lots of suspicion. But Robert won. He suggested a trip to Stirling and proposed on Ladies' Rock in the Old Town Cemetery. And they say that romance is dead. We had dinner at the same restaurant, same table, where we actually had our first date. And this is how Robert recalls them getting together. It's actually pretty close, isn't it? He didn't say they met in Sweden or anything, so it's okay. Lally and I met when the pandemic kicked into gear. For any form of social interaction, I joined Facebook. Then when Facebook suggested Facebook dating, I gave it a try. Lally and I matched and started chatting. Unfortunately at the time, he said, I had a broken jaw. So it was a while before I could ask if she wanted to meet. On our first date, we talked about our shared love of books, history, love of Scotland, and enjoyed a cheesy joke or two. Several days later, we'd climbed mountains, been to lochs, and tried every cafe and restaurant in Stirling. In Lally, I found my perfect partner. She's cautious where I take chances, and thinks things through twice where I just jump to a decision. Most of all, he said, I found someone that I can't wait to see. Someone makes me so happy just to be around her. And so, here we all are. Now, when I first met Lally and Robert, it was obvious to me that they shared the same outlook. They had the same kind of philosophy, and they both wanted the same things for the future. And they were both prepared to work as hard as they could to make sure those things happened. Now, here in this room this afternoon, we all have our own thoughts on what marriage means to us. But what's important today is what marriage means to Lally and Robert. So once again I asked them, tell me in your own words, what does marriage mean to you? And this is what they said. Lally says, marriage is simply home. While circumstances of life can change, marriage moves with you wherever life takes you. It's something you build and shelter from the world within. Robert said, to me, marriage is the ultimate commitment. I promise you'll put the relationship ahead of any personal wants or needs. That you forever want to have the relationship as your number one priority. To stand up in front of all the people that matter in our lives and to make oaths and pledges that we're committed to each other and the future of our lives together. So for Lally and Robert, marriage is accepting one another in his or her entirety, as a lover, as a companion, as a friend. It means caring for each other so that each feels loved, safe and secure. In committing themselves to this marriage, they will share laughter and tears, joy and sadness. They'll feel the comfort of companionship, but will always respect each other's uniqueness and individuality. They know quite well that as they go forward in this voyage together, that voyage will sometimes be calm and sometimes stormy. But they both know that any time it does get stormy, the love they have for one another will always see it through. So going forward from today as husband and wife, Lally and Robert won't belong to each other. They will belong with each other. Now, we've heard Lally and Robert's story. We've heard what marriage means to them. Now let's see if they actually like each other. Because what I've asked them to do is share with me, so that I can share with you, a few things they love about each other, a few things maybe not just so much, and is there anything they hope might change after they're married. Neither of them knows what the other one said until now. Ladies first. Well, Lally started off very positively. Her first 5 words were, things I love about Robert. She said, Robert is a problem solver. He's the type of person that will always be there for a friend. He's incredibly hard-working and injects humour into every opportunity. On the lighter side, he gives off a lot of body heat to warm my chronically cold hands. And he takes care of my most hated household chore, the hoovering. What a star. So is he perfect? Maybe not, says Lally. He leaves crumbs everywhere. That's why he hoovers, yeah, exactly. And she said he doesn't accept gifts well, much to everybody's frustration. That struck her, okay? What did Robert say about Lally? He said, if I was to list everything I like and love about Lally, I'd be writing War and Peace. So here's a quick list of just some of them. He said, I love her sense of humour. Our inside jokes make it our own little world when we are together. I love her intelligence. I'm so proud of her for finishing a master's degree and getting into her dream career. I'm amazed by her every day. I love the trust that we have in each other. I love her smile, even though she told me when we started dating that she doesn't smile. He said, I'm glad that she lied. I love her creativity. She's such a talented artist. I love seeing what she's created and what she comes up with. So, is Lally perfect? He says, she makes me watch Bridgerton. Even though he does the hoovering. Then he said, there's ranch dressing. It's just garlic mayo and vinegar, he says. Sometimes she misses opportunities by overthinking things and not grabbing opportunities with both hands. As much as he said, as much as it seems like I'm crawling here, there's not much I can say that I actually don't like about Lally. She makes me as happy as I've ever been, and I hope she feels the same about me. Well done for both of you. I think they both deserve a warm round of applause. But we all know this marriage ceremony in and of itself is not magic. It won't create a relationship that doesn't already exist. Every marriage is as unique as the couple who are making it theirs. This is Lally and Robert's marriage. Theirs to develop, theirs to live, theirs to work on every day. Their marriage will be a work in progress. Every good marriage is. But they are both prepared to face the challenges of marriage and the happiness of marriage together as husband and wife in the coming years. Now, in this wonderful old Scottish surrounding, Lally and Robert have chosen to include as part of the ceremony a few old traditional Scottish wedding customs. And the first one of these is hand fasting. Now, for those of you who don't know what a hand fasting is when during a marriage ceremony, the bride and groom use two pieces of material to physically tie a knot. The symbolism is twofold. Firstly, it symbolised that together Lally and Robert are stronger than they are as individuals. It also symbolises the fact that today not only do two individuals come together, but two families come together as well. And in including this tradition as part of their ceremony, they're actually carrying on the origin of the phrase tying the knot that we still use today to describe a wedding. So without any further ado, I'm going to invite Lally and Robert to take part in this traditional Celtic hand fasting. Okay, just to stand facing each other, stay that distance apart, that's fine. I'll get this set up and then I'll move out of the way. So you can see here we have two pieces of material. One piece represents Robert and his family. One piece represents Lally and her family. One from America, one from Scotland. Robert, can you stand with your palms up the way? Thank you. And you hold that with your thumb. And you hold that with your thumb like that. So this piece of material represents Robert and his family. Second piece represents Lally and her family. Now, I'm going to move out of the way, but what I want you to do is put your hands through that loop. With this hand, grab that bit there. Same on the other side. Now, I'm out here. So, what I want you to do is just hold it tight, take a wee step back and pull it towards just pull it towards yourself. And if you hold it up, everyone can see the knot that you have just tied. Hold on to it just now. Lally, Robert, you have made a commitment in an ancient Celtic hand fasting. It's a bond that ties you two together. It's a bond that ties but doesn't bind. May that bond never come undone in the storms of life. And may you go through life hand in hand, mind in mind, heart in heart. And I'll take that from you just now, and we'll just put that here temporarily. And I'm just going to stay out the way just now, because we will shortly be at the point of the ceremony where Lally and Robert will exchange rings and exchange vows. Before we do that, let's just pause for a second and think about what it is they're about to do. We don't exchange wedding rings just because it's the done thing, because it's habit, because it's routine, because everybody does it, just because. There's real meaning, there's real symbolism in exchanging wedding rings. What is that meaning? What is that symbolism? What is a wedding ring? A wedding ring is an unbroken circle. No beginning, no end. It stands for unbroken love, trust, support, inspiration. It's an embrace that can surround you. And from today forward, these rings will be a permanent reminder of the promises you've made to each other and the love that you've declared for one another. So, see if we can find who should have the rings. Gavin, I don't need them. If you hold the box, and can you give the first ring, that will be Lally's, and you give that one to Robert. Now, before we put the ring on, Robert's got a vow that he would like to read for Lally.
Lally, you're my friend, my accomplice. You're my true counterpart. I love you. I'll continue to love you, hold you, and honour you. I respect you, encourage and cherish you, healthiness and sickness. Through sorrow and success for all the days of my life. When you need a friend, I'll be your best friend. When I need your help, when you need my help, I'll be there for you. When you need care, I'll support you. When you want to try something new, I'll encourage you. When you do the same for me, I'll appreciate you. And if you don't, I'll forgive you and love you every day. For the rest of my life.
Thank you, Robert. Robert, would you take Lally's left hand in your left hand, and as you place the ring on her third finger, will you repeat after me? I, Robert, sincerely accept you, Lally, in marriage. So, Robert, do you now take Lally to be your lawfully wedded wife? The second ring, please, and we'll give that one to Lally. Now, Lally, Robert says that you've probably memorised your vows. But if you haven't, it doesn't matter, because I've got them there if you'd like to read them. You got it? Okay, good. Go for it.
Robert, you are a keeper of my soulmate, my partner in crime. I promise to love you fearlessly and wholly with all restraint. No, I'm joking. It was in sickness and health and poverty and in plenty. The rest of our days together.
Thank you, Lally. Lally, would you take Robert's left hand in your left hand, and as you place the ring on his third finger, will you repeat after me? I, Lally, sincerely accept you, Robert, in marriage. So, Lally, do you now take Robert to be your lawfully wedded husband? Ladies and gentlemen, for these declarations made before myself and all of you as witnesses, it's my very great pleasure, Robert, Lally, to declare you married and pronounce you husband and wife. Now, we said that Lally and Robert were going to include a couple of lovely old Scottish wedding traditions. The next one is a toast from the quaich. Now, if anyone doesn't know what a quaich is, this is a quaich. It's a drinking cup, and you can see that it's got a handle at both sides called lugs. Now, there's lots of different tales and legends that tie a quaich to a Scottish wedding ceremony. Almost all of them relate to two things: welcome and trust. One legend says that in times past, if a traveller came to your door, they were offered a drink as a welcome. It was always offered with two hands and accepted with two hands. So nobody could ever offer you a drink or accept a drink with one hand and reach for your sword with the other. So it signified trust. If a deal was done, perhaps the exchange of land or livestock, very often it wasn't done with a contract. It was done with a handshake and both parties drinking from a quaich. Because they both drank from the same vessel, it couldn't be poisoned. So once again, it signified trust. The strongest link between a quaich and a Scottish wedding ceremony actually goes back to 1589. James VI of Scotland gave Anne of Denmark a quaich as a wedding gift. And from that time on, a quaich has always been associated with a Scottish wedding ceremony. But what's so nice about Lally and Robert including this tradition in their wedding ceremony this afternoon is they get to their very first drink together as husband and wife. They get to toast each other for the first time as husband and wife. Not later this afternoon when you go back for something to eat, but right here, right now, as part of the wedding ceremony. So, behave yourself. Put them down. So I'm going to pour a rather nice wee dram into the quaich, and Lally and Robert, sorry, I just put your dress in the thing. One of my favourite sounds. For those of you who don't know what this is sheep dip, which is in fact rather a tasty biscuit. So, Lally, I'll give it to you first, and again, I'm going to move out of the way so I'm not in the middle of this picture. This is your opportunity to toast Robert for the first time now that he's your husband. Robert, your opportunity now to toast Lally for the first time now that she's your wife. I'll take that from you. Thank you very much. And Robert followed my instructions and he left a wee dribble in the bottom. So obviously that wee dribble needs to be used up, and the best way to use that up is for me to say, Lally, Robert, congratulations to both of you. Right, we're going to pause the ceremony now, just for a couple of minutes while we sign the paperwork. Once we've signed that, we'll come back up and do the last 2 or 3 minutes of the ceremony. So don't go away. Thank you. Right, off we go.
The rest you can find out.
Fabulous.
That's what it says. Right, so, in the left hand. No, thanks. He doesn't count. Do you want to practice with this pen? Are you okay? Perfect. Only hold it on the white bit, and then you won't get any permanent black ink on your fingers. So, Lally, can you sign there and as slow as this?
Isn't all your names?
Just whatever, your normal signature. Perfect. Robert, can you sign there, please? Again, just only hold the pen on the white bit, and you won't get all covered in ink. Perfect. Got very quiet, hasn't it? We're all thinking about those drinks and the food coming later. Okay, who stays at 12 Kirkwall Place? Right. And I get you to sign there, and then print your name there. Again, only hold the pen on the white bit. So signature, and then print your name.
So I'm left handed, does that make a difference?
Only the way you stand. The way you stand. Signature, and then print. God, it's quiet, isn't it? I've got to keep looking up to make sure you're still there. That will do, thank you. Well, they had it all before. Only hold the pen in the white bit, so you won't cover the black ink. Signature, then printed name. Perfect. Thank you. Right, and as usual, I'm going to move out so that you can, I'll give you that pen just to hold. I've actually got another one somewhere that's got no ink in it, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you this one. No, just pretend. And I'll move out the way and you can get some photographs taken. Look happy. Still happy. Still happy. Very happy. Thank you. Okay, let's. back this way a wee bit, and you can just stand together now, and I'll just move out of the way, because you don't really need me at this point. Right, last couple of minutes. Lally, Robert, now that you're married, remember this day. All these people that came to wish you well, the promises you've made to each other, and the love that you've declared for one another. May you continue to value and appreciate the great joy that comes from giving and from sharing, and may all your hopes and dreams come true. I'd like to bring the ceremony towards a close now with our last Scottish wedding tradition. This one is called a Celtic wedding wish. And this is your opportunity to wish Lally and Robert all the best. Once again, not just on their wedding day, but as part of their wedding ceremony. So just stay seated, but repeat each line of this traditional Celtic wedding wish for our happy couple. May the wind always be at your back.
May the wind always be at your back.
May the warm rays of sun fall upon your home.
May the warm rays of sun fall on your home.
May you have fire in your hearth.
May you have fire in your hearth.
And food on your table.
And food on your table.
May you know nothing but happiness.
May you know nothing but happiness.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
Well done. Nobody said well done. Well done.
Well done.
On behalf of Lally and Robert, I would just like to say once again, thank you all for being here and being part of this very, very special and happy occasion. It remains only for me to conclude on behalf of all of us here. Lally, Robert, good luck, good health, and much happiness in the future. Now, I have to say at this point, I have no idea what's happening next. I know you're going somewhere. I don't know where you're going. I'm not sure if there's pictures. I don't know what's happening. So at this point, all I'm going to say is, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, would you please be upstanding, because it's my very great pleasure to give you Lally and Robert, the bride and groom. I'm just going to wait now for somebody who knows what's going on to give the instructions.
Downstairs.